purified drinking water. It's your boy Jude Black. Full-blown war, man. Damn, I think about the information I was gonna give y'all next week or whatever, that I'm just about to just start slapping it on right now, man. We about to get right into this stuff. Man, a lot of historical finds and biblical finds are in danger right now. All the bombing and all this, they're destroying stuff that they have no idea is there, that I've known about for years, that I've known people that knew about for years, that, wow. So our resources are going to be very limited due to the war and the contamination and all that. There will be no more processing come after today. Well, actually, I'm being told everything's going to be wiped out and cleared. One of the sources is it's in danger, and I'm sure that with the water and everything, it's probably going to find itself into the natural spring eventually. Wow. Okay, so good thing I have all of these from back then, and I got enough for y'all. Not enough for all y'all, but enough for most y'all. But damn, man, we at war, so I guess let's get into more coverage about that. Jude Black, Shalom L'Chaim. Oh, this is the special water. This is Miriam. This is my last one of Miriam. I might have bigger bottles, y'all. We'll get a smaller bottle. I got bigger bottles of Miriam. Yeah, oh, anyway. Jude Black, Shalom L'Chaim. We're not going to cue that music. We're going to get straight into this coverage. All right? Let's get into that coverage.
But what is happening here? This is more than just Hamas. What do you suspect has gone on behind the scenes in the lead up to this horrific attack?
Well, thanks for having me, Laura. Yeah, it's definitely the darkest day in Israel's history. I can tell you personally that I was personally appalled by the scale and scope of this. And just for your audience to realize, we woke up in the morning to the sound of sirens. We assumed it would be just yet another round of rocket launching and rocket barrages, and everything would go back to be the same as it was. But then we saw horrific videos, and I'm sorry for describing it to your viewers in such graphic terms, but children being tied up and executed in their own homes, and soldiers' body being sabotaged. And we saw youngsters in nature parties simply ambushed and really a massacre and a spree. And we saw these horror videos and we ask ourselves, my goodness, this has nothing to do with territorial dispute, this solution or that solution. We're dealing with barbaric ISIS-type human animals here that have taken their inspiration from the Nazi regime, I suspect. Now, the previous reporter was absolutely right in terms of numbers. It was equivalent to maybe 10 times 9/11 in relative terms of population. And so Israel is shocked, but it is also, preparing for war. And we saw the airstrikes pounding the Gaza facilities of Hamas. We saw how Hamas is, it's beginning to regret, perhaps, its very audacious one bridge too far action. But we're also seeing the Iranian fingerprints, Laura, all over this
yes.
step.
And what does that mean?
Massacre.
I mean, I guess you and many others would have suspected this anyway. But if you have confirmation, what does that actually mean? What is then the reaction of Benjamin Netanyahu and the US?
Well, I think, for starters, we need to throw out the window all of our old concepts and our conception that we can feed a hungry lion. We tried strategic containment with Hamas for years now. We know that Hamas has taken over the Gaza Strip in 2007. And ever since, we've been trying the method of, appeasement. And at worst, we saw these rounds of conflict where, let's be honest with ourselves, relatively sterile fighting with the Air Force carrying out most of the attacks. And we saw, rocket barrages, mostly intercepted by the Iron Dome system.
Yeah.
And we kind of dealt with that. And now you see the level of barbarism right on your doorstep. And you realize this is a whole different ballgame. And I think right now, Israel has all international credit it wants to take bold action in Gaza and to eradicate Hamas, really eradicate this terrorist group called Hamas. But also, I would expect the Israeli leadership and the US and really the moving statements of support from around the world, from Australia, from Europe, from all over the world, even the Middle East, to tackle the Iranian regime head on. That would mean the Iranian regime has planned this carefully. This is just for you to realize. These Hamas terrorists were trained and equipped and armed by Iran. This is nothing to do.
But what you're talking
Gaza.
about here, let's be real about what you're talking about. If war is declared on Iran, this is a whole different ballgame.
Right, and so I'm confident that the Israeli leadership and the U.S. leadership would be responsible enough to know what to do about it. And we're not pretending as if there is an easy solution to this. All I'm saying is that our old conceptions need to be thrown out the window in face of these barbaric human animals. That would mean that the Iranian regime can no longer be tackled in a manner of polite negotiations. This is a regime that has been exporting the revolution, so-called, or really outsourcing terrorism, spreading terrorism around the Middle East. We see it with Hezbollah, with Hamas, destabilizing the entire Middle East. We see the Iranian leader touting his achievement on Twitter, saying that the Zionist regime is dying, his words. And so really there's no choice but let's say our assumptions were not null and void, but they definitely merit reevaluation here. So Hamas must be crushed and destroyed, but we need to also change our attitude toward Iran and the way it's carrying itself around the world.
Or Issa Shah, thank you so much for your time. Just approaching 2 a.m. local time there in Jerusalem. Please.
May I just say, Laura, just to maybe end it with an optimistic tone. We've seen the best of the Israeli spirit in motion. We've seen the spirit of people volunteering and packing, food packages for soldiers and civilians, opening their homes for families from southern Israel. We saw, over 100%, 150% of people drafting for reserve service. And so this spirit will endure. And that's why I'm optimistic, because, we got such great people and such great spirit. So, and we're in this war to win it.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. We needed an uplifting moment because there are not many over the last few days. Thank you. We'll be in touch.